Ladies and gentlemen, we have a breaking news update here in Bachelor Nation. Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. It's official. Tayshia's out of several Bachelor podcasts. Tayshia Adams exits Bachelor Nation podcast. Clickbait. Tia Booth takes over. I'm going to play for you Joe introducing Tia and what they had to say about Tayshia on her way out. We don't know if Tayshia left or if they didn't want her to be a part of it. Let's assume Tayshia's in control of the situation. She's a megastar. She's one of the biggest known personalities in the Bachelor universe. She's in control, all right? So let's give her that grace that Tayshia's making these decisions. And if we find out, oh, she was pushed out, that'd be another thing. I don't think that's the case. I think she's making enough money otherwise, and she doesn't need to be doing the dang podcast anymore. So let's get right into it. Do me a favor, follow me, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the video, preferably an odd number of times, and let's get right into this story right now. Tayshia Adams exits Bachelor Nation podcast. Clickbait. Tia Booth takes over, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right to the audio. Let's play the audio right now of what was said on the podcast Clickbait today.
Welcome back to another episode of Clickbait, and before we get into the Bachelor Nation breakdown, we have some news. We've seen your messages in DMs, and we do have a host update for you guys.
Host update.
We send Tayshia our best and our love, and would like to officially welcome Tia as our new co-host of Clickbait. Tia, I would clap my hands, but
Yay.
it just doesn't work on a podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to officially be here. I'm really excited. I really am. I never thought that a podcast
Did she just get more Southern? Well, thank you so much. I do declare.
would be on my radar, but
Love Tia.
here we are.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Yes, it's lovely having you. Honestly, I thought you were our third co-host like a month ago, so let's just keep doing this.
Official,
Honestly,
baby.
I thought at some point it might just be me and Joe. So I'm glad that I have another person to combat this energy that he gives me sometimes.
Yes, honey.
You know
it's
what
a
I
lot.
mean?
It's a lot. It needs two people. It really does.
Natasha couldn't handle just me. Just
Facts.
All right, so there's nothing else really going on there with regards to saying anything about Tayshia. They just said she's no longer in. They didn't give us any update, none of that. I'm getting thrown into the fire. Someone messaged this to me. I'm assuming Tia wrote this about you. Someone said, why did Tayshia leave? The person that insinuated that isn't affiliated with Bachelor Nation and doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, she's not referring to me. We just looked into it. So if we go here to what Jenna said, why did she leave? Let's just read the thread. OMG, that is so horrible. So if you break up, you're essentially kicked out of Bachelor Nation. That makes sense, but it's so sad as well. So the rumor that, and I haven't said this once. I am on record for not having said this, but the rumor was that Tayshia isn't wanted to host because she's no longer with Zach. I think that's hogwash. I don't think that's the case at all. But is she still a part of the Bachelor Happy Hour, or lost that gig too? Becca hosted while she was single too, I think. So Becca hosted when Becca was single, so that's not the case. That makes no sense. Not saying you're wrong, but isn't it because she held title of Bachelorette? So we get Tia's response here. Becca has been the host of Bachelor Happy Hour since its launch, which was in 2019. She was still with Garrett at the time. She continued to host even when she was single. Don't think Tayshia lost her job because she's single now. I'll give that a heart. I completely agree with what they're saying. Tia responded, the person that insinuated that isn't affiliated with Bachelor Nation, and I don't know if that's, and by the way, everyone's allowed to have whatever thoughts they have about this, but I believe that they're referring to Zach, our guy Zach over here. Let's just have a quick listen.
End of Tayshia for Bachelor Nation. Tayshia will no longer be a part of the Bachelor podcast. Natasha did say that she will miss Tayshia and that she knew one day.
I don't know. Either way, I'm not sure who said it, but that's the update. We know Tayshia's no longer involved, and I don't think we'll get much more information regarding it all. I really don't. So I got this sent to me this morning. Dave, you were right about the franchise pushing Tayshia out. And look, it's a theory. It's a theory. I don't know if that's the case. As we mentioned, Tayshia's got good agents, good representation. She might be off to do other things. She might have realized that the show commodified her when she was supposed to be the host. They kind of wanted her to talk about her breakup with Zach. She walked off Men Tell All episode. For all we know, Tayshia's like, you know what? I'm not going to do it because I don't want to get demonetized. She puts up one of those fingers and says, you know what? No thanks, Bachelor. Appreciate it, but I'm going to go do other things. You've already commodified me enough. You've made your money off of my story, my heartbreak. I'm going to move on. That might be the case. It might be them saying, hey, we want some fresh blood. On the press release for Clayton's new episode, Caitlyn is going to host a date, but not Tayshia. All right, so that means all right, you guys want to get into it. Clickbait announced Tia as their official co-host. So people are wondering, is the truth out there? Let's read what they had to say. This is the official press release for the next episode of The Bachelor. Caitlin Bristow pays a surprise visit, leading an emotional date where Clayton and the women bravely open up about their insecurities. Becca Kufrin stops by. So we know the next episode has Caitlin Bristow and Becca Kufrin, but not Tayshia. Just because Caitlin Bristow and Becca Kufrin are on the next episode doesn't mean Tayshia won't be on a future episode if she wants to be. We know Tayshia tweeted this: every story has an end, but in life, every ending is just a new beginning, which might mean, hey, I'm officially cutting ties. I'm going to go with the route of Rachel Lindsay and try to do things outside of Bachelor Nation so I don't get pigeonholed into Bachelor Nation. I think I can, maybe she's got a job in development as a host for E! News or something else. We don't really know. So we shared what they had to say about her on Clickbait. Now listen, I get we have 50,000+ subscribers and another 50,000+ people that aren't subscribed that watch my channel. So that's 100,000 people. Now, they don't watch every video. Most of my videos average 15 to 50,000 views. But out of those 100,000 people, I would say 10. Maybe 10 out of 100,000. What's that? 100,000. So 50,000 people would be the size of Yankee Stadium. And then 2 of those people have been really upset about my coverage with Tayshia. Really upset. I want to air what they have to say. I think it's important to air what they have to say because, hey, if you don't like the way I'm covering things, fine, let's talk about it. So this is what was said. And again, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the DMs. I'm not sharing any names, so therefore I'm not airing out any grievances. It's all private. I'm a fan, Dave. I donated $50. Thank you. But you do bash Tayshia. The whole I prefer Caitlin over Tayshia turned me off. I don't follow you anymore. That's the big burn these days. It used to be, my dad will beat up your dad. Now it's, I'm going to unfollow you. No, please don't. Your take, so I guess that was one. She didn't include a one, but that was one. Number 2, your take on her missing the after the final rose. You said she missed the Super Bowl of the season, so she was uninvited, was plain garbage. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. 3, perhaps you know people on the inside and there is some truth to the rumor. I don't really. 4, I realized that you used Tayshia because your post about her attract clickbait. All right, the terminology there. My posts don't attract clickbait. My posts may include clickbait, meaning how are you going to, click on it? But when you click on it, are we delivering or not? Are these not accurate representations of the convo? You tell me. So, yes, the After the Final Rose, the live version of The Bachelor for the host, that is the Super Bowl of Bachelor, okay? That's where the host gets the most work, and Tayshia did miss the After the Final Rose. Tayshia did say she missed it because she was exposed to COVID, which by all means, there's no fact checking that. She lives in New York City. Of course she was exposed to COVID. The commenter further went on, no one wants the heat from the unnecessary drama, attention your clickbait creates, especially your post on she missed the Super Bowl of hosting nonsense. At that point, there wasn't a freaking thing that she could do about it as she was quarantined in New York City. My whole question about that is, why was she quarantined the day of when she was supposed to be in Los Angeles? Wouldn't she have traveled a week earlier? Shouldn't you be? I mean, that was my question. I think we're allowed to question these things. I think we're just allowed to question them. At that point, there wasn't a freaking thing that she could do to Corinne. You questioned her character and called her basically, and I hate whenever anyone says basically, this is when it gets dangerous, right? Whenever anyone says basically, you're summarizing my words, and I'm not waving my finger. I'm not waving my Harry Potter one at you. But when you say basically, you're that's dangerous territory. You questioned her character and called her basically an unemployed liar, as she announced on her Instagram to her 1.8 million followers why she couldn't attend. Meanwhile, she had a stressful time, really, since her engagement. It seems then they broke up. So please give her some grace. You also clowned the caller from Atlanta who said you post petty, mean-spirited conspiracy posts about Tayshia. That wasn't cool. It's like you're race baiting because you know that your audience is mostly white women, aka a bunch of Karens. On the other hand, some of your posts about her are not so mean-spirited. The Flower District one with the possible Zach sighting speculation wasn't mean-spirited and was actually amusing at times. Be well. Implicit bias. You favor Caitlin as you relate to her based on race. I'm guilty of it too. So so that's pretty much all you're going to get there. So I can't address all those things. I've kind of made it a principle that I'm not going to address people saying I have bias towards one or the other, because what's my defense to that? Maybe I'll continue to look inward at how I could have potential biases. When it comes to Caitlin, I think she's more camera ready because she's done her Off the Vine for several years. She's been live on Dancing with the Stars, and even though she she's dancing, not necessarily performing, the live aspect to that. And during the season, you could clearly see that the production was favoring Caitlyn. They were giving her more one-on-one time with Katie Thurston. She was getting the private walks on the beach with Michelle Young. I mean, these things are stuff I'm looking at as having worked and working in entertainment. I'm going, oh, it seems like the producer said, you know what, Tayshia, you've been exposed. Be safe for the sake of everyone and stay in New York. And then Tayshia's like, stay in New York. I'm out. I'm done. I don't need you guys. Which, Tayshia, you don't need them. Go out on your own. You know what I mean? Whenever you have any disgruntled situation with the boss, get out there on your own. Build your own equity. Don't rent out your time. All these things. So give me a second while I pull up the voicemail. I'll pull it up one more time because a lot of people might not have heard this voicemail before, but the caller was accusing me. Oh, we have a new subscriber, D Smarty. Thank you so much. The caller was accusing me of clowning this voicemailer. Now, give me a second to kind of find this here. Here's the voicemail. It's from our good friend Elaine.
I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia. This is Elaine. I just don't understand why Dave is so obsessed with Tayshia. And you literally are just making up stuff to try to make her look bad. What is wrong with you? You and Nick Viall are so petty and jealous and resentful of her that you're just making up stuff. You should feel like you can be a bigger and better person than that.
This is who I am. I try to evolve. But anyway, the person that called out everyone for being Karens has sent me plenty of messages in the past saying you enjoy how I tackle colorism from a white perspective as a guy who doesn't understand these things, trying to get educated. I'm not defensive necessarily, but what I have to tell people is this. If you are a fan, if you are a supporter, you need to be there, not unconditionally. Don't give me carte blanche to just spew hatred, but you need to be there for what you agree with and then what you disagree with. We live in this culture. Don't get me started, folks. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Don't get me started, folks. Hold on. I'm trying to hit the dang button. Don't get me started, but we live in a culture where when we disagree with something, it's quick, unfollow, quick, pull your advertising, quick, unsupport. Listen, I'm here to listen to you. I'm talking to you in front of thousands of people right now, hearing your point of view. And when someone shares that they think I'm petty and all that, I'm sharing their point of view. But at the same time, I'm also sharing the fun parts that other people are doing as well. Like this video that was made by a friend of ours. You know, the bass drops. Here's the deal with Tayshia.
I just don't understand why Dave is so obsessed with Tayshia.
Here's the deal with Tayshia. This video, if you guys know, I 100% defend Tayshia in this video.
What is wrong with you?
It's a banger video. Bruce has the right idea when it comes to conspiracies. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it was Tayshia, but it could be Tayshia.
I just don't understand why Dave is so obsessed with Tayshia.
5, Here's the deal with Tayshia. 7, 8. Bruce says, "Dear Dave's mom, Dave is so obsessed with Tayshia. Do something."
What is wrong with you?
With these theories about what's going down, I think it's fair to track it and judge it. I mean, come on, we're doing a live stream right now.
You cut the crap.
There it is.
You cut the crap.
All right, so that's it, right? And again, by the way, I'm filming this. I'm recording this live right now with my Patreon community. It's a private membership-only community. So if you want to watch me make content, we literally were like, how big do we want to make the font? What should we include? They help me out with all that. It's a ton of fun. If you want to join patreon.com/Dave Neal, if you're like a work-from-home person like us. So here are some of the comments from people. Alicia says right now, OMG, we are not Karens. You got to be careful when you throw down that Karen word. And then a few other people said, Teresa said, I truly see Tayshia as an entertainment host on E or similar as a career path, but that's not going to work with Zach. Well, with Zach, it's like, I mean, I've never been one to think that her relationship can only survive if she stays in New York. They could do long distance. They could do all these different things. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what goes down with their relationship. I'm not announcing it dead, even though though they made their breakup statement. I'm still checking for a pulse. They may get back together. They may not. What Tayshia does next, we'll have to see. Amy says, she sounds like the Karen to me, so we'll have to see how it goes, folks. Your comments are all great. Funny comments. Teresa says, to me, it's amusing and statistically expected with 50,000 subs. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to, when it comes to like using a storyline for my own entertainment purposes, I think Tayshia's a fascinating person in Bachelor Nation. When we have answers, who's Katie dating? It's John Hersey. The story's no longer relevant when we have all the answers. It's the unknown, right? It's seeking the truth within the who's following who, the statements that are made. That's what's interesting to people, the speculation. We can speculate, like I say, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can speculate on Tayshia and why she's leaving the show without defaming her. She's a talented, I don't want to say A-lister. I mean, in reality TV, she's an A-lister, okay? When it comes to reality TV, she's an A-lister. She belongs on a red carpet. She belongs on E! News. Whatever it is she wants to do, the world's out there for her. Am I bashing her? No. Reality Steve? Yeah, he interviewed Tayshia's ex-husband and talked to him. We're just watching what's on the Instagram, the YouTube. We're speculating, but it's done with, I mean, listen, guys. Oh my gosh. Just, you know what I mean? Like, oh, wrong one, sir. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
We're just trying our best with all the information that they give us, and we want her to do well. I want to make sure I didn't leave anything out. There's a lot to this story here, but now we officially know that Tayshia's out from the podcast world, and we'll have to see what other information comes out there. That's it for this video. When there is a new Tayshia update, you bet your bottom dollar Clickbait Dave is going to be out here to talk about it. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye, everybody.